Praise the Lord, my beautiful, blessed souls. It is me. Yes, I am back. A little tired, but I had fun. I enjoyed my trip. I showed a little snippets here and there. I did go to Virginia Beach to celebrate my son's 21st birthday. On top of that, my family's there, of course, in Norfolk, Hampton, Richmond. So I enjoyed them. We got to hang out to eat, casino, everything. It was really nice. Of course, the water. They have 25 beaches, I believe, in Virginia. And the seafood. Oh my gosh. All the seafood. Wonderful, beautiful. And so I really enjoyed myself. But we're going to get back. We're going to pick up where we left off, guys. I know I haven't done a word in about 2 weeks, maybe 10 days. And I'm going to pick up where I left off, which was in June 29th, because I don't want to get off track now. Although I've been, reading or whatever since, and I took a little break. It says hospitality. This was June 29th. How can I show hospitality to others? And this is going to be a two-part with this. It says the basis of good hospitality, a place to stay and food to eat, are simple acts of kindness that you can offer to anyone. Being hospitable is a way to obey and serve God, because God calls us to love and serve others as though we were serving Him. When we care for the physical needs of others, we are serving Jesus as if He were our guest. So when we look at these things, we got to think about it. Now it says, cheerfully share your home with those who need a meal and or a place to stay. 1 Peter 4:9. Genesis 19:2. My lords, He says, come to my home to wash your feet and be my guest for the night. You may then get up in the morning as early as you like and be on your way again. Genesis 19:2. Genesis 24:32. The man went home with Laban, and Laban unloaded the lambs and gave him straw to bed them down. He fed them and provided water for the camels, drivers to wash their feet. And Hebrews 13:2. Don't forget to show hospitality to strangers, for some who have done this have entertained angels without even realizing this. So when we look at these things, this was June 29th. I'm going to continue on from here. I know we're not in the right time, but I'm moving forward and I'm going to get to it. And then the next day it says, June 30th, hospitality. My home is nothing special. I am not a great cook. How can I be hospitable? So it says, don't fall into the trap of thinking that you must have a big house and or extraordinary culinary skills in order to be hospitable. Instead of making your home and food your focus, make your guests the focus. And the most important part of hospitality is ministering to the needs of others and sharing the Lord's blessing with them in the surroundings. Then this becomes significant. 3 John 1-5. You are doing the good work for God when you take care of the traveling teachers who are passing through. Luke 10:39-42. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what He taught. There is really only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and I won't take it away from her. Matthew 23:35-40. I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger and you invited me into your home. Hold on a second. I apologize for that. So it says, but Sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what He taught. There is really only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and I won't take it away from her. That is in Luke 10:39-42. Matthew 25:35-40. I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger and you invited me into your home. And the king will tell them, I assure you, when you did it to the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you are doing it to me. Pay attention to these things, because these things are very important. They mean a lot. And when I think about hospitality and being a person who tries to be as hospitable as I can be, and I think of people, places, and things of where I have been and gone, past, present, and future, and whether they are hospitable or not, I promise you it makes a very big difference feeling welcomed in places. Whether you're known there or not, is something to be appreciated. Not everyone, does these things. So when we look at this, we're going to pay attention to this, and we're going to look at it in this First Samuel as well, along with what God is doing. Remember, I am going from June 29th to June 30th. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I'm keeping, in line in this step with where I am, because I don't want to go forward, I don't want to go backwards. So I know this is old, but please bear with me. I am trying to catch up with everything because I've been on vacation. So now we're in 1 Samuel chapter 9. There was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish, the son of Abiel, the son of Zeror, the son of Becherah, the son of Aphiah, a Benjamin, a man of wealth. So he had money. Remember that. A man of wealth. He had a son whose name was Saul, a handsome young man. There was not a man among the people of Israel more handsome than he. From his shoulders upward he was taller than any of the people. Now the donkeys of Kish, Saul's father, were lost. So Kish said to Saul his son, "Take one of the young men with you, and arise and go and look for the donkeys." And he passed through the hill country of Ephraim, and passed through the land of Shalishah. But they did not find them. And they passed through the land of Shalim, but there were none there. So then they passed through the land of Benjamin, but did not find them as well. So now, I'm going to continue. Give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. Ooh, let me fix this as well. Okay. So when they came to the land of Zuph, Saul said to his servant who was with him, "Come, let us go back, lest my father cease to care about the donkeys and become anxious about us." Meaning, I guess, about their whereabouts. Remember, he was handsome and they had wealth. So, remember, this is after they asked God to give them a king. So this is going to be his answer to that. So when they came to the land of Zuph, okay, but then he said to him, "Behold, there is a man of God in the city, and he is a man who is held in honor. All that he says comes true. So now let us go there. Perhaps he can tell us the way we should go." So they're talking about Samuel. Then Saul said to his servant, "But if we go, what can we bring the man? For the bread in our sacks is gone, and there is no present to bring to the man of God." Hospitality. When you go to someone's place, whatever is going on, hospitality. Being hospitable, being a person who's willing to help, to assist, to give. These are major factors of people who have Christ-like, qualities. Why? Because this is what he came to do. This is who he is, a giver. He's not selfish. He's not self-centered. This is what this is about. So, then Saul sent the servants, "But if we can bring for the man bread in the sacks, our sacks, but there's no present." Okay, what do we have? The servant answered Saul again, "Here I have with me a quarter of a shekel of silver, and I will give it to the man of God to tell us our way." So they were going to give him money instead of the food, because remember, it doesn't always have to be a gift. Hospitality doesn't have to be always finances. It can be, but it could be other things. It could be bread. It could be, formerly in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God, he said, "Come, let us go to the seer." For today's prophet was formerly called a seer. So I wanted to look into that too. Seers and prophets, because we have a lot of stuff with that. And Saul said to his servant, "Well said, come, let us go." So they went to the city where the man of God was. And as they went up to the hill to the city, they met a young woman coming out to draw water, and said to them, "Is the seer here?" They answered, "He is. Behold, he is just ahead of you." So right in time. See how God's timing. "Hurry, he has come just now to the city, because the people have sacrificed today on the high place." We're going to look into that as well. "As soon as you enter the city, you will find him before he goes up to the high place to eat." This is important. "For the people who will not eat till he comes, since there must he must bless the sacrifice. After those who are invited will eat. Now go up, for you will meet him immediately. So they went up to the city. As they were entering the city, and they saw Samuel coming out toward them on his way up to the high place. Now the day before Saul came, the Lord had revealed to Samuel, tomorrow about this time I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin. So this is what he already knew. And you shall anoint him in a right place, right time, to be prince over my people of Israel. So this is going to be the first king, remember. He shall save my people from the hand of the Philistines, for I have seen my people because of their cry, and they come to me. When Samuel saw Saul, the Lord told him, here is the man of whom I spoke to you. He it is who shall restrain my people. Then Saul approached Samuel in the gate and said, tell me, where is the house of the seer? Samuel answered Saul, I am the seer. Go up before me to the high place, for the day you shall eat with me. See, Saul didn't know what was going on, but Samuel did. God had already made arrangements. And in the morning I will let you go up and tell you all that is on your mind. As for your donkeys that were lost 3 days ago, see, God set it up that they would be there just for that. Do not set your mind on them, for they have been found. And for whom is all that is desirable in Israel is not for you, for all your father's house. Saul answered, am I not a Benjamite from the least of the tribes of Israel? And is it not my clan the humblest of the clans of the tribe of Benjamin? Why then have you spoken to me in this way? And Samuel took Saul and his young man and brought them into the hall and gave them a place at the head, those who had been invited of the table, who were about 30 persons. And Samuel said to the cook, bring the portion I gave you, of which I said to you, put it aside. It was already there for him. So the cook took up the leg and what was on it and set them before Saul. And Samuel said, see, what was kept is set before you. Eat, because it was kept for you until your appointed time, that you might eat with the guests. So Saul ate with Samuel that day. And when they came down from the high place into the city, a bed was spread for Saul on the roof, and he lay down to sleep. Then at the break of dawn, Samuel called to Saul on the roof, up that I may send you on your way. So Saul arose, and both he and Samuel went out into the street. As they were going down to the outskirts of the city, Samuel said to Saul, tell the servant to pass on before us, and when he passes on, stop here yourself for a while, that I may make known to you the word of God. So now when we look into these things, we see back then they were called seers, but they're prophets. So now we're going to look into that and a bunch of what is going on in this story. Now, the story of Saul, Israel's first king, begins here. This is the chapter that is meant to build suspense without what is really happening for several key moments of Revelation 1. At the end of the previous chapter, the Lord commanded Samuel to make Israel king, remember that, according to the will of the people. Remember, they demanded, they wanted it. So the reader might expect to find Samuel conducting that search. Instead, in 1 Samuel opens up by introducing a man who goes out looking for lost donkeys. So Saul was not looking to be king. He did not know he was going to be king. This was already pre-appointed by God. So now, Saul is described as a man from the tribe of Benjamin, the tall and handsome son of a wealthy man named Kish. Some of Kish's donkeys have wandered away and they are lost. Doesn't that sound familiar? The lost sheep. Kish sent Saul and a servant to go out into the hill country of Ephraim to find the donkeys and bring them back. This is what God already ordained. After 3 days and many miles, however, the pair still did not find the donkeys. Now, when they come to the land of Zuz, Saul says it is time to give up the search. He is concerned that his father will stop worrying about the donkeys and start worrying about them. So the servant, though, tells Saul that a man of God lives in a nearby city, meaning Ramah. That man is famous for never saying anything that does not turn out to be true. Seer, prophet, Samuel, sorry. The servant purposes they go and ask him about the donkeys. This is why. So Saul's only objection is that they do not have a gift for this man of God. Exactly. Hospitality. The servant realizes that he's a quarter of shekel of silver for gifts. Saul agrees to go and try it. As the pair approach the city that evening, they meet some young women coming out to draw water from the well. The woman tells them the seer and the prophet is shortly ahead of them, about to leave the city, attend a special sacrificial meal at the high place outside of town. As soon as Saul and his servant enter the gate area, they see Samuel. The writer inserts a flashback into history about the 24 hours earlier that the Lord told Samuel that the man from Benjamin will come the next day at about the same time. The Lord said that Samuel would anoint the stranger to be the prince over Israel, meaning the king, that the man would save Israel from the Philistines, and God's answer to their cry for help. Narrating back to the present moment, the Lord now tells Samuel that the man approaching is the one about to whom he had spoken. So when Saul asks where the house of the seer is, Samuel tells him that he is the seer, and that Saul should go up with him to eat the meal at the high place. The table was already prepared. The blessing, all of that. Samuel will let Saul go home in the morning, then tell him his own thoughts. Samuel also tells Saul that he can stop worrying about the donkeys because they have been found. Why God already took care of it. And Samuel adds mysteriously that everything desirable in Israel is for him and his father's house. Saul objects to being honored in this way. After all, he tells Samuel he is from the tribe of Benjamin, the least among all the tribes, and that the tribe also, his clan, is the lowest of all the clans. Why is Samuel talking like this? Instead of answering Saul, Samuel takes him to dinner in the sanctuary hall. So Saul is given a seat of honor at the head of the table, and Samuel gives him the best portion of meat, saying that it has been reserved for Saul. Later, Saul spends the night at Samuel's house as they were walking out of the city the next morning. Samuel stops Saul and says that the time has come to reveal the word of God. So now when we look at this, we want to understand that God has already prepared this. And a lot of times, even in our own lives, we may not pay attention to this, but God is He's the one in control. We think we are, but we're not. We make decisions, but God has, He already knows what decision, whether it's this, that, and the third. And no matter which one you make, there's already a path. So Samuel had promised Israel, from God that they should have a king. It is strange that the next news is not of candidates setting up right for government, meaning to making an interest in the people who recommended themselves to Samuel to be king by him to God, to be nominated, to be put to be nominated. Why does this not the prince of the tribe of Judah, whoever he is, look about him now, remembering Jacob's entail of the scepter on that tribe? This is where we get, God has his own way of doing things. Is there never a bold, inspiring man in Israel to say, I will be king if God will choose me? No one appears, whether it is only to a culpable means, spiritedness, or notable humility. I know not, but surely it is what can scarcely be paralleled in the history of any kingdom, a crown such as a crown set up and nobody bids for it. Most governments begin in the ambition of the prince to rule, but Israel's in this ambition of people to be ruled had any of those elders who petitioned for a king afterwards petitioned to be king. So what was going on here? I should have suspected that this person's ambition to have been at the bottom of the motion, but now let them have the praise of what was good in them, and it was good. It was not so. God having in the law undertaken to those their king that they all sit still till they hear from heaven, and that they do in this chapter, which begins in the story of Saul, the first king, and by the strange steps of providence brings him to Samuel to be anointed privately. This is what this is. And so to be prepared for an election by lot and a public commendation. Public commendation. What is it? Public commendation to the people, which follows in the next chapter. Here is a short account of Saul's percentage in person. A large particular account of the bringing of him to Samuel, to whom he had been before altogether a stranger. God by revelation had told Samuel to expect him. So God by providence led him to Samuel, being set to seek his father's asses. He was at a loss, but by the advice of his servant, he determined to consult Samuel to find out where they were. By the direction of the young maidens, he found them out, and Samuel, being informed of God concerning him, treated him with the respect in the gate, in the dining room, and in the length in private, where he prepared him to hear the surprising news that he must be king. And these beginnings would have been very hopeful and promising, if not had been that the sin of the people was spring of this great affair. So now when we're looking at this, we're going to pay attention. God had already made a provision, whether it was a good one for them, meaning to have one or not. It is what they wanted, and we will see a lot of times, even in our own lives, it may not be what God wanted for us, but if it's something we want, he will still allow us to have it. So now, this is what's going on. When we look at hospitality and we look at appreciativeness and being grateful and thankful of the people, whether it's of God or the people that God has put in your life for whatever reason, because you see, all of this was by accident, but it was not. It was divine. So now when we look at this, we're going to look at this deep structure and we're going to break down 1 Samuel chapter 9 and complete it. So here, we're going to look at it now. The people were Saul. He was the son of Kish from the tribe of Benjamin, physically impressive, meaning taller, and he was a nice-looking man. Kish, Saul's father, he was wealthy and influential. So Saul was not only a beautiful man, Saul was also a wealthy man, okay, in his own right. His family was. Samuel, he was a prophet, the seer, the judge of Israel. He was God's voice at this time. Servant will accompany Saul, who shows practical wisdom. Now, the groups of young women at the well, they were just there, but they were, people at the high place religious gathering. He was explaining what was going on. So now, the events and the actions of what happened, what took place. The donkeys of Kish are lost. Remember, Saul and the servant searched across the regions. They ended up there by accident, but it was not. Saul considers giving up. The servant that's with him suggests consulting the seer, which was Samuel, the prophet, to see if they could find them, to look, to tell them where they are. So now, the servant suggests consulting the seer. If they travel to the city, God reveals Samuel ahead of time of Saul that he's going to be chosen one, that he's coming. So Saul meets Samuel, and Samuel invites him to a sacrificial meal, which actually was really his meal to be, honored. Saul is given a place of honor. So where this happens, the land of Benjamin, Mount Ephraim, Shalisha, Salim, Zuph, the region, city where Samuel lives. Ramah most likely was where they met up, the high place, religious worship site. So in the timeline context, the period before Israel had a king, transition from judges to monarchy. Immediately after Israel demanded a king, 1 Samuel 8, timing. The past was Israel was ruled by judges, right? The present, they're searching for leadership. Future is establishing a monarchy. It's going to be through Saul. This is going to be first king. How? We're going to look at the methods and processes. Naturally and practically, they're searching for the lost donkeys, but also traveling from place to place. So they're kind of, wandering. Then also asking locals for direction. So they're lost. They don't have direction. They lost the donkeys. They lost themselves. So spiritually and, they're lost all the way around. Spiritually and naturally. But spiritually, divinely, God speaks to Samuel in advance. He's the divine orchestration of events. Saul's random journey is actually a guided one. He didn't know it. Physical dimensions, that pay attention to that, because a lot of times the stuff we deal with, we think is random and it's not. A lot of times it is divine from God. Physical dimensions. Saul is physically attractive and tall. The travel is long and tiring. The donkeys represent agricultural assets. Also, movement through terrain shows effort and endurance. Mentally, in dimensions, Saul is practical thinking, let's go back, concerned for his father's word. Servant is strategic, he's thinking, seek the prophet for guidance, right? Samuel, spiritual awareness and discernment. Emotionally, dimensions, right? Saul is concerned for the father, uncertain about the next steps. Kish is likely anxiety over his son, that's the father. Samuel, he's peacefully confident because God had already told him, he already spoke about the situation. Now, financially, economically, Kish is described as a mighty man of power. He's wealthy, Saul's father. The donkeys equal valuable property, asset, economic loss. Offering is needed to consult prophets, meaning servants provide silver. They give them something in, return for their gratitude for their office. Social class contrast. Saul equals wealthy family, servant equals resourceful but lower status. Spiritual dimension, key themes, God's sovereignty, his divine election, choosing Saul. Prophetic authority. Spiritual mechanics, God reveals future to Samuel. He's the seer, the one who perceives spiritually. He sacrifices at a high place and he equals communal worship. Family system, the patriarchal household, Kish and his son. Son obeys father's instructions. The concern is the father lost donkeys. The son, father's emotional distress. Church and religious systems. Worship happens at high places. Prophet Samuel leads spiritual direction. Sacrificial meals equal religious and social gatherings. People seek guidance from the prophets. When it comes to government and politics, Israel is in transition. There's a demand for monarchy. It has already occurred. Samuel equals the last judge, meaning prophetic authority. So Saul now is going into the future king. Political shift is going to begin here. We're going to see this because it's not going to just be a spiritual thing. It's going more into a natural thing. This is going to be where the issues are going to come. Political meaning God allows a king but chooses the leader himself. Leadership is divinely sanctioned. So when we look at all these heads and they talk about Donald Trump or whoever, yes, if God allowed it for whatever reason, it could be, in the end to help us. It could be to do certain things to bring us our needs. Whatever it is God's going to allow, he's going to allow. Social and cultural structure. Leadership is divinely sanctioned. Social and cultural structure. Respect for prophets. Custom of giving a gift or seeking guidance. Women draw water. Daily community role. And communal meals signify honor and status. I say this all the time because when we're seeing that people are being helpful to us in any type of way, we should be appreciative. We should have the hospitality that we're seeing here in any and every way. Because a lot of people are not hospitable. A lot of people will watch you go through things. They won't tell you anything. They won't help you. And this is what this is about. Natural lineage. Saul, the tribe of Benjamin, father, Kish. From the tribe of Benjamin, small but significant tribe, historically unstable. So God is doing something through this tribe, and we're gonna see how this plays out as to when, where, how, and why. Because we know Benjamin has issues in his tribe. There's other tribes, Dan, different ones. So we're gonna see how God is gonna work this thing out. Spiritual lineage. Samuel, the prophet, is connected to God's authority. Saul is chosen by God. He's anointed. His lineage begins. It's gonna start. Israel is the covenant people of God. Now, past, present, and future, we're going to look at it. In the past, Israel was under the judges. Okay, they had no centralized kings. They had, tribal leadership. And God is now preparing leadership change. So this is the transition. Saul unknowingly stepping into destiny. Future is Saul becomes king. Next chapter, Israel becomes monarchy. So now it's going to be different. Eventually, this is going to lead to the Davidic kingdom, meaning David's going to come through this line. Thematic insight, divine providence. What it looks like random loss in the darkness is actually God's plan. Saul is a hidden calling. Searching for animals finds a kingdom. Leadership selection is not based on appearance, though. Saul has it, meaning he's aesthetically pleasing. But it's not based on that, his money, his riches, and his beauty. It is based on God's choice. This is why we have to pay attention to this too, because a lot of times we think that just because it's aesthetically or whatever, and that could be in any area in our life. We could think that this job is cushion, so it's the perfect one. That person is cushion, it's the perfect person. This is that, and it may not be because, no, that may be the total opposite. Remember, Satan likes to send us people, places, and things to lead us right out of the will of God all of the time. And it will be a setup to make you think that it is from God, to look like it, but it's not. So we have to pay attention to these things. Symbolic meaning, element, lost donkeys. This is meaning a disruption in leading to purpose. So this is the reason, this is the, thing that's going to cause them to go into this direction. The journey, process of calling. Servant advice, wisdom from the unexpected sources. The high place, the spiritual elevation, right? And the meal that honors is the recognition of destiny. That's what it means. Now, practical life application, our ordinary tasks may be divine steps, meaning seek godly counsel when unsure. God can use delays, problems, and detours to reposition your life. So remember this. Leadership often begins before you realize it. A lot of times we don't realize what God is doing. We're just going about our daily lives. We don't understand it. We don't know it. We don't perceive it a lot of times. So we have to be paying attention because we miss sometimes a lot of things that God is trying to send us, the signs. So the summary saying 1 Samuel 9 is about God orchestrating destiny through everyday events. Transition from unknown person to chosen leader. Intersection of natural life and spiritual calling. Saul represents physical readiness, social positioning, spiritual opportunity, though later tested. So, now the nature of Saul calling, because I wanted to get into this and we're going to get into it. Saul calling is unexpected, indirect, and divinely orchestrated. He is not searching for a throne, so he wasn't looking to be king. He's not trained as a prophet to do that either, or to be over people. He's not aware of his destiny, and a lot of times people who are walking and talking, they are not. People be angry, hating on them for no reason because they're not aware of their own destinies. And this is how a lot of times people, get into situations to where someone else may see it before they do. And this is where the jealousy comes in. The anger, the hate, the enviness. Because they will see before the person does what's in them over others. So, that's for those who just naturally have natural this, that, and the third, and they walk in rooms, and a lot of times people don't like that. That is what that is all about. So now, instead, he is looking for lost donkeys. God is leading him to a kingdom. So this shows God often calls people through ordinary responsibilities, not spiritual ambition. So these people are not seeking to be anything in particularly, although other people may think or know when they look into their lives and all these type of things, yes. So this is wrong. They shouldn't be doing that in the first place, and they should be worried about their own lives, but this is what goes on. The spiritual mechanism of this calling, a divine initiation. God starts it. God speaks to Samuel before Saul arrives. Saul shows it before he even knows it. And this is what I'm saying. Spiritual principle, calling begins in God's mind before human awareness. This is where they say that, God's minds and his thoughts is not ours. The people we think should be over stuff are not. God put who he gonna put, because he knows who he is choosing, who they are, and who he brought them here to be. And this is what that's about. So now, guided movement. Saul travels through the multiple regions. Every wrong turn actually is a right step. So we think a lot of times, that we're moving, sorry, I gotta get this back. A lot of times we think that we're moving in the wrong direction, and a lot of times we're not. A lot of times we're right on time, right on God's time. We don't know that, but God does. So even failure, meaning lost donkeys, become a doorway into purpose. So you're always trying to do the right thing, and sometimes doing the wrong thing is the right thing. Hey, this is what I'm learning too. I'm learning it with you. Prophetic confirmation. Samuel recognizes Saul immediately. He confirms God's choice. Calling requires spiritual authority to reveal identity. Hospitality in Saul's calling. Hospitality is central. It is not incidental. Samuel's hospitality to Saul. Sorry about that. Samuel's hospitality to Saul. Samuel invites Saul to a sacred meal. Invites Saul to a sacred meal. He gives him a seat of honor. He provides lodging. He treats him like royalty before he becomes king. This is prophetic hospitality. Treating someone according to their future identity, not present status. Honestly, I believe you treat people no matter where they are with, gratitude, respect, honor. This is just my, thing. But I believe this is the godly way to be. And some people wonder what it is about certain people, and it could just be the simple fact that they have a godly spirit, meaning that they know how to treat people, whether they up, down, in, out, in between. And some people don't like that, because although out aesthetically and other things, they may not have that, what they have, the look, the this, the money. They may have other qualities that are seen to be so much better, in a sense, than just having that. Because remember, it talked about how he was rich and how he, has come from money, and how he was beautiful. But a lot of times, even still, we're going to see as we get further down, that's going to be one of the downfalls of Saul. Because a lot of times people who have these things are very vain. They have no, when it comes to handling people, being over people, doing certain things, it's all about themselves. They're very self-centered. They're very selfish. And this is and they don't know how to lead, meaning be over people, meaning in the sense of not being it all about themselves, be about others. And that's where the hospitality comes in. So meaning of the meal represents acceptance. Saul is received into a spiritual space. Elevation is given to the best portion, meaning placed among honored guests. That's what they did. Revelation and environment. After hospitality comes anointing. This is the next chapter. Pattern, hospitality, relationship, revelation, and calling. Why? Because hospitality, without it, you can't have a relationship. I don't care what kind of relationship you're looking to have. Most people are looking at have a man or have, if you can't even have friendships and family ships or whatever, you can't be with anybody. Revelation and calling. What are you talking about? But right now, I can't talk to you about it. I don't know. We don't. Well, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about because we don't know.
When I was here, you was here, or he was here.
Yeah, we were both sitting here.
And I said my friend wants to come in the building. I want to come in, tell him anything. Don't let him come upstairs.
But we don't know who they are. That's what I'm saying.
No.
How do we know who this person is?
I know that, but why would you let him upstairs if I didn't answer? That's what I'm trying to find out.
Well, we never called. We didn't know what was going on. That's what I'm saying. We just let him upstairs because he came. He had his
When he came to
ID.
see me, you rang my bell, right?
I don't think I rang the bell.
Okay,
Unless a Lori rang the bell.
I did not answer.
Ooh.
He's going over here.
Ooh. Hey, I can't talk to you right now, and then I gotta call the Lori and find out because I don't know if he rang the bell or not. I was over here. Yeah, it was good, but I'll talk to you later. You see, we got some stuff going on. Give me a minute. Yeah. I'm gonna ask him. Oh, okay.
Right there, I don't know that now. I went last time, a long time ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was about my friend too, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I can't talk to you right now. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Okay. I apologize for that. I don't even know because honey, we got more than one person coming in here. And yeah, I gotta ask him because I don't know if he rang the bell or not. I wasn't over there. But anyway, so let me see. Where was I at? Okay, so the normal pattern is revelation and environment. After hospitality comes anointing, and the next chapter of the pattern is hospitality, relationship, and revelation, and then calling. So this is how this is the pattern that God uses. So hospitality is always, why? Because you extend yourself to people. If you don't have hospitality, you can't have relationships. You know, this is where this comes in at. Hospitality, relationship, then revelation, and calling. Cultural and spiritual role of hospitality in this culture. Meals, covenant, trust, belonging, food, clothing, shelter. Talked about giving people, being there for people, helping people. Why this is godly traits, this is godly way of doing things. We cannot skip this because this is who Jesus is. People want to be like Jesus, this is what this is. You cannot be a stingy, self-centered person thinking that God is going to bless you over the top, that you're going to have all these wonderful things. When you yourself, you know, you want all these things, but you yourself can't. If you can't give and show hospitality to others, then you can't expect it. Just like everyone wants someone to be loyal in relationships, have a man or this or that. But if you can't be that to others, then you can't have that yourself. Because you can't expect it from people when you yourself cannot even give it. So now, hospitality becomes a gateway to destiny. And wonder why some people's destiny is why? Because they are hospitable. They are thankful, they're grateful, they are the type of people who are willing to serve, not to always want to be served. This is the problem that we have with society. Because see, Christ came to serve. He came to give. He is the king, but he came to serve. And in order to be in a high position, leadership, you have to be able to serve first. Everyone has to crawl before they walk. This is what people don't understand. So, Saul doesn't step into kingship through war or politics first. He steps into it through what? A table, a host, meaning Samuel. Through what? Hospitality. Brought in, sat down, spoken to, treated well, and told, this is who you are. This is what this is. Internal, mental, and spiritual state of Saul. At this stage, Saul is humble. He feels unqualified. He identifies with a small tribe, meaning Benjamin. When Samuel speaks, that's like saying, oh, well, I'm from the worst part of town in the world. Jesus was from Nazareth. They said, what could come good out of Nazareth? A Nazarene. Why? It was one of the worst places, so small places they call. This is what this is about. So when Samuel speaks, Saul questions his word. This shows calling often meets insecurity. A lot of people are very insecure. A lot of people who are called happen to be very insecure because they don't really know who they are. They have a lot going on. God's choice overrides self-perception. Emotional dimension. Saul is concerned about his father, focused on responsibility. He is not self-seeking, meaning self-centered, self-seeking, always wanted to be about him, the money, the this, the that. He's a nice-looking man, he has money. No. This reflects a servant mindset, which is necessary before leadership. So God is paying attention. Spiritual symbolism of hospitality in this story. Elemental was the meal. The chief seat, the reserved portion, and Samuel's hosting. Now, the meal represents covenant and acceptance. The chief seat represents promotion. Element is reserved portion, and spiritual meaning is divine provision. Samuel hosting is a spiritual meaning, God welcoming Saul into destiny. Social and kingdom dynamics. Hospitality as a transition tool. Samuel used hospitality to shift Saul from civilians, meaning to a leader. Introduce him into community, into recognition. Prepare him for public authority. Leadership begins in private acceptance before public authority. Natural versus spiritual calling and connection. Natural action, searching donkeys, faithful in small tasks. Natural action, following servant advice, openness to guidance. Natural action, entering city. Spiritual meaning, entering divine timing. So these things make a lot of sense. Receiving hospitality and receiving identity. So when you look at these things, it makes a lot of sense. We don't pay attention to it when it's happening, but we are now. Now, past, present, and future of Saul's calling. Past is unknown man from Benjamin, serving the Father. The present is chapter 9, entering prophetic space, receiving honor before understanding. Future is anointed king and political leader of Israel. Now, the important and spiritual warning, foreshadowing. While Saul is called and honored, his later life shows failure to sustain obedience. Lesson is hospitality can introduce you to calling, but character sustains it. But I mean, Cynthia, you act like you have only one friend. You have different friends. We don't know who these people are. So then you can't have an attitude. Okay, but you can't have an attitude with us about it. You can't have an attitude with us about it. We don't know who's who and what's what. I mean, I wasn't sitting at the desk. He's on break right now. I don't really know. I don't know what's going on. I just don't know who's who and what's. We don't know. He's on break, yeah. Key takeaways: calling author starts in ordinary, lost donkeys found purpose. Hospitality is a spiritual gateway. So we're gonna look at this. So the key takeaways: calling author starts in the ordinary, lost donkeys meaning found purpose. Hospitality is a spiritual gateway. God uses meals, people, spaces to reveal identity. And when we look at what goes on in business, people who, break bread together, have relationship, because the same thing with business. And I tell people, a man or a woman who cheats on their spouses, I cannot do business with. Why? Because if you're going to do that against the person you lay next to, you can't even be faithful. How would you have any honor, integrity, when it comes to doing business with other people? People don't see that as a big deal, but that means you're not a trustworthy person. And a lot of times when people, have business dealings, they look at people and they see how they move in their personal. This is why they want to sit down and have meals with you. See how you operate outside of work. Why? Because they want to see what type of person you are, what kind of character you have. Why? Because that means a lot. That makes a big difference. Do you keep your word? Do you honor your commitments? Do you honor, and prioritize your life and, what's important, your family, your children, or are you an opportunist? Whoever comes along, whatever comes along, you're going to run and jump towards it. You want to do this, do that. You have no loyalty. This is where this comes in. So when you look at getting a job, when you look at going into business, when you look at marriages, the same questions are asked. When you see yourself 5 years, are you alive or are you dependent? These shows your character, your personality traits as a person. Can you be to work on time? Or can you be functional? Can you handle pressure? All of these type of things, and it doesn't matter what setting it's going to be in, it's going to be the same thing. And if not, then you can't handle it. It's going to show that. So building in character, even when God is preparing his leaderships, it has to be done in private, and it's going to be the same situations. There's going to be testing to see how you're going to handle certain situations. So everybody wants to be called and chosen and all these things, but how do you in your regular everyday life? Are you hospitable to others? Are you loyal? Are you respectable? Can you handle things under pressure? How do you handle people in general? How do you handle situations in general? It says a lot about who you are. It just is what it is. So now, okay, so other than Macy, you're calling before you do. Samuel knew, but Saul didn't. Honor precedes position. Saul is treated like a king before becoming one. Divine calling combines guidance, relationships, spiritual authority, and community recognition. This is what this is about. Relationships. If you cannot hold relationships, you will not make it far, because even with business and other things, you have to have relationships. So this is going to be a main factor. If you want to run business, you have to have a relationship with people. It's never going to be all about you. You're never going to be the main focus. People in business cannot have a business without who? Employees. In order for you to have a company, you yourself is not the end all be all. You can start the company, but you need other people to actually run the company. So in order to do that, you have to be able to hire people who are reliable. People have to want to work for you. All these type of things. This is what this is about. Even in supervisory positions, managerial, and this is what happens. Now we see a lot of that is not always the same. People get positions and they do not handle them well, or whatever the case may be. This is what it is, though. So, divine calling, final summary, Saul's spiritual calling is 1 Samuel 9, is initiated by God. It is revealed through a prophet. It's activated through hospitality. It is hidden inside ordinary life. The hospitality of Samuel is not just kindness. It is prophetic positioning, where Saul is welcomed, honored, and prepared before he ever wears a crown. So now we're looking at these things, honey. Wow. Now I know these people talking about juicy skits. They were talking about a lot of things in this world. I know I missed a few things from the wars and this, that, and the third. I try not to have my head in the sand because I don't want my head to be in the sand. I want to be able to know what's going on in the world because it affects me on a day-to-day. Lately, I have been a little in another world because I've just been, trying to plan for the vacation, get everything taken care of, and then get there and get back. So I was kind of a lot. But I am trying to catch up, like I said, even with my words. And this is what it is. But anyway, let me see. One more thing. I wanted to know what's the difference between a seer and a prophet. Okay, they talked about Drewski. Now, when we talk about Drewski and his skits, I do not agree with everything, but I do agree. One, I agree that it's funny. I do. But I also, the thing with that was, a lot of what he's saying is the truth. And the church can't be mad about it because at the end of the day, if this is what they're doing and this is what's going on, then this is what's going on. Now, do I feel it's somewhat rude? It can be. But then a lot of stuff that goes on is rude on the other end. So it just is what it is. I know people say, when it comes to watching BET and all these things, listen, no one wants to be, not knowing anything of what goes on in the world. I'm the type of person, like I said, to each his own. We have to figure out, what it is God is saying, especially in our own lives, and we got to figure it out because hanging out, I don't believe that we're supposed to be here and just not do anything. Christ was out there, he was in the world. We cannot live a secluded life. We have to be out there experiencing things because it is a part of our life. And even I myself is going through this struggle with this as well, because am I supposed to just be in church, be in word 24/7, never go anywhere, never do anything, never have any interaction with people, that's isolation. That's not what God is calling us to be. We would not be effective that way. And we're still supposed to make mistakes and learn from them because that's a part, as we see, of the plan. So with that being said, like I said, hospitality goes a long way. And I wanted to end both June 29th and June 30th with the hospitality. I want you to see them so that you can see for yourself what exactly is going on. And I'm going to try to do 2 at a time if I can to get them out. I know I have a lot of words to get out. I've been on vacation. And I do want to discuss some of what went on with my vacation. Some of the highlights, the lowlights of that as well. Hospitality is a main factor with that. Having issues with that here and there. but we'll discuss it. Anyway, Bruised and Not Broken, I miss you guys. It's been a while. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, so give me a minute. I will be trying to crank out these videos as fast as I can to get them, get myself caught up. And like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, Prophet's Word for Prophet's Reward. If I am being any type of anything to your life, being a blessing, you should be being a blessing to mine as well. Because a lot of people will watch it, or some won't. Ask in social media, whatever, they will monitor you. They won't be hospitable to you. They won't like it. They won't comment, subscribe. They won't share it, whether it's this channel or anything else. And that says a lot about people, especially people that I know, because people are not supportive, and that means that lets me know who's who, who's what. And to monitor someone and to not want to, help promote them is one, because you never know when you're gonna have something. This is what being hospitable is about. Being hospitable is you want to be treated the way someone else treats you. You see what I'm saying? You want to be treated well because you will want that for yourself. So you treat others the way you want to be treated. You want your, pumping out something, you want people to get it out. You can't start a business on page tomorrow and you never supported mine or anything else of that matter. And then you want me to sit here and push your stuff when you never push mine. So this is how relationships work. And when I talk about that, and I was just talking about that in every aspect, it's the same thing. You can't want support, want people to like, share, comment, subscribe, and tune in to whatever you have going on. If you're selling a product, if you're, whatever it is, writing a book, starting a business, you want people to promote you, but you don't want to promote other people. You'll sit back, you'll watch, you won't like it, you won't comment, you won't subscribe, you won't, Then when you put your stuff out, you want everyone, those same people you did not support to support you. That I'm not going to support people who don't support me. Why? Because it has to be reciprocal. This is where business and partnerships come in at. That's in your relationships, that's in friendships, that's in everything. So don't expect me to promote you and what you have going on, to give you money, to bankroll you, to fund you, to do anything for you if you're not willing to do it for me. I don't care if it's a vacation. I don't care if it's we're out to eat. I don't care if it's just a relationship, friendship, if it's a spousalship, whatever, children, whoever. If you're non-supportive of me, I am not going to be supportive of you. It's just that simple. So when we understand that, like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, that's in anything that I'm doing. I don't mind promoting people. I promoted plenty of people over the years, okay? So I shouldn't have any, when I had nothing, when I wasn't online, when I was doing nothing, there shouldn't be any reason. I shouldn't have to beg, which I'm not, and ask, no, because God will provide no matter what. But this is where I am with it. This is what we're doing, and that's just the bottom line. So, and I didn't make any money or anything off of what they were doing. Didn't ask them for anything. So at the end of the day, simple stuff like this just lets you know. My Cash App is in my bio. If you want to Cash App me to be a blessing to my channel, I'm quite sure I'm reaching people. I'm quite sure that God is doing what He's doing. And as you can see, a Prophet's Worth, a Prophet's Reward. If people are coming out to you and they're actually being a help to you and things that, where is helping your life, you should be able to want to be a blessing to my life in any way, shape, form, or fashion that you can. But anyway, like I said, like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. My Cash App is in the bio link. Bruised and Not Broken. I'm back. As you can see, I'm back at work. Excuse the, I don't have time to edit this video. I don't have time to do a lot of things right now. And sometimes we have little issues and I have to just deal with it. But anyway, love you guys. Be blessed in Jesus' name. Amen.